Cortney Kluver, been fourth or fifth generation ranch people, and this is on Rosebud Creek, same one Custer rode up. The old 97 Dodge, still my weapon of choice for feeding cows. A little bit like the old covered wagon days. No heater, lots of ventilation. There and tell yourself, don't forget your knife, don't forget your knife, don't forget your knife, don't forget your knife. That's the Scotch Highlander cross cow, and I believe she's naturally polled now. They're the ones with everybody thinks they're super cute because they're hairy and usually a light red, but she's actually just crossed with Angus, and I really like the crosses. She's probably about a quarter blood, but they're a little more compact, but pretty thrifty cattle, and I don't mind a cross. Anyways, so this is the ranch most people know as the Cornwall Ranch, was previously known as the Butte Ranch, and been blessed by God to have an opportunity to be somebody to work this place, and among many others, mostly family. And I don't know exactly whose cabin this was behind me, but it was somebody's house at one time. Here's the emergency transportation. This is my pride and joy. He's getting some age on him now, but he makes me money every time I saddle him. This is the horse I had through high school and stuff. These are both thoroughbred Arabian crosses, and people never think it, but the sorrel is 25-ish, and he doesn't travel good anymore, but he looks healthy, looks young. And some of these others, the two in the rear, are full-blood Arabians, and they have really good dispositions. This guy over here on the fence is, I don't know if he's a full-blood Tennessee Walker, but he's at least a part-blood. And then the others, there's a couple, the two bay horses are, they both trace back to Peppy Sand Badger. They're actually quarter horse, half-blood quarter horse, and then the other 2 quarters are thoroughbred and Arabian. If you look in the one with the star in his face here, you can see some of he's a big horse, but you can see some Arabian to him, and I'd say he is exactly what you'd expect. He's all three. He's a little bit, I guess I can't see a lot of thoroughbred in him, but feel a lot of thoroughbred in him in his disposition, but he's a lot quarter horse and a lot Arabian too. After riding him my whole life, I feel like he's a pretty good mix. basically going to be the legacy of a lot of people that worked hard and lived here once upon a time. The whole corral system up here, other than the gates, is all repurposed. Rubber belting, there's a coal mine about 20 miles away from here, and that's all belting off of their conveyor systems. The best thing about it, I mean, it's unbreakable. If horses and stuff get around it, it's super safe. It's nice. I mean, you don't even get splinters off it. Only bad thing is if a bull tries to take you, you can't climb this stuff. And then all the posts up there are actually old bridge pilings off the Milwaukee line. And I think we were able to buy those for like $9 or $10 for 10 feet. And so if it was 15 feet, you just paid 10 bucks. So they are a tremendous piece of wood for the money. So that's all repurposed too. It's pretty cool. This is a round alley system, and our original theory on it, which came from an old rancher named Gene Ashner's, and then my dad, was that it's directional. So when you're sorting cattle and you miss a sort, the theory is that they can just go by you and you just circle them back again. So instead of constantly stopping the cattle, the theory is so that they're looking out because they know they can go clear around and go past you. It probably works a little better in theory than in real life, but I wouldn't say it's without merit. I think it works pretty good. And overall the corral works really well. So as you can see here, so if they come by this gate and we don't get the sort, they can continue on down this alleyway, and you can sort them again on those gates there. So like I said, it's directional. It only wants to really kind of work one way, but it especially works if you have a couple people bringing the cattle on horseback. And then, so, you know, you can just kind of circle the whole thing, and you don't have to stop them and wad them up and turn them around back on themselves. You can just continue through. And the other nice thing is, wherever you have a gate in this rubber, it's really obviously a gate. I mean, it's like a big window, and they always find the gates pretty well. Each of these, at each post we have 3, I don't know, they're about a foot long spike. And this stuff's pretty difficult to handle, and we found with a large shackle or clevis, we would drill a hole in it and hang that over, and then we would stretch one section at a time. So like with here, we'd pull with a tractor, and we'd pull it and stretch it to this post, nail it, and then go to the next one. Sometimes you could do multiples, but like here, there's another hole, so we'd stretch it and pull it to this point and nail that post and just work your way around. And it worked good, but it was a lot of work. But this stuff's been hanging here since around 2002, I'm gonna say, maybe 2001, and doesn't show any deterioration at all, and seems to be as good as the day we put up, probably a little better. Probably one of my proudest repurposes is my sister is assistant manager at Home Depot, and they were getting rid of a bunch of shelving, and I've been able to pick that up extremely affordably for scrap prices. And so I just take the end shelves and I cut the verticals, and I cut the bracing out, and that gives me 2 posts. And then I set those in concrete, and these clip on, they don't unclip. They have nice pricing displays in case that's of interest to anybody. And it's freaking steel fencing that's all tied together, solid as can be. When you go up a hill, if you have any terrain, you have to stair step it because it wants to be square. It won't let you be really out of square. And I'm extremely pleased with it. I think it's awesome fencing. Eventually I'd like to trim. I'll trim these tops and stuff and make it look a little better, and hopefully put some white paint on it so it's not quite as much of a Home Depot look. But thank you, Home Depot. How the post turns out once you cut the things out. I used a torch. It seemed fastest. A little cutoff disc on a grinder does a good job too, but it leaves a sharper. These things are pretty gnarly. Someday I'll get bored and then I'll clean it all up and it'll be, you know, super safe. One of the best things is I used Quickcrete, and so I was like probably around $8 to the post, which is cheaper than you can get railroad ties even. So that was one of the biggest things. The money I have into it for the product I have is awesome. I always figure if these rust off, I'll just probably set a tie behind them or a piece of drill stem or something and lag them onto it or weld them onto it, and then they'll last another 100 years. So I plan to be around for at least 100 years for these, and then after that we'll see. So the end of the story is that just want to keep building on what we have the opportunity of here, and improving, preserving the past, but not stopping with our vision there. And I think I have a family legacy of guys that were visionaries that really built places, and I mean, we're standing underneath of something that somebody dreamed of 4 or 5 years ago. And so for me, it's honoring that, but then having my own dreams, and I'm lucky enough to find a girl that could fall in love with those dreams, and I actually proposed to her right here, right in front of us here, and she's been cool enough to latch on to those dreams with me, and have a bunch of her own to throw in there and just make us better. We got, looking this way, I've got a hole in the ground where we're going to build a house, and hopefully these cows we've been filming all day will pay for those things. And if I take care of them, they'll take care of me. And I've kind of got a deal with the Lord that if I take care of His sheep, He takes care of my cows. And so I do a little youth pastoring and things like that, and just have an awesome family that's just blessed to work together, and hopefully take care of what God's entrusted to us. I think that's kind of what it's all about.